This has been kind of a hilariously bad hotel. I can't complain too much because it worked. It was relatively quiet, and it was sub $100. But yeah, the amount of stains and dirty things in here. The water doesn't do hot or cold. It just kind of does warm. The number of holes and stains on the bed. It's kind of hilarious. Never mind the microwave. Don't open the microwave. I might have a little more spring in my step this morning if it wasn't feeling like I was going back into that traffic nightmare from last night. Getting across that freeway interchange over, it's like 79, was a bit of a nightmare. Also, despite the fact I walked by a Domino's yesterday, they wouldn't deliver here. So I was stuck eating out of Burger King because I couldn't stomach, paying an extra $15 for some sort of Uber Eats delivery. On the plus side, traffic seems incredibly quieter this morning. Man. And I'm holding out hope that maybe I can get some reasonable coffee going through Clarksburg. Hotel wasn't great, but on the plus side, got to talk to my mother, got to talk with Jen. Started to look ahead a little more, get my notes in order for Ohio. I am reasonably certain I am going to be on the rail trail by the end of today, which should be another one of these lower stress segments. And that'll take me all the way to Parkersburg, which will probably be a hotel-ish stop before jumping into Ohio. There was a hiking note on Hiking America that somebody had managed to stealth camp at a sports complex, but it was only another mile or so. And as early in the day as I was here, that works if you're getting there at dark, setting up and leaving early. If you're there 3 hours before dark, that's just asking for trouble, if you ask me. So today is the Clarksburg Alt. Hell, this one's actually a shortcut, but similar to DC, it's shortcutting going through the towns, and that is one of the things I find kind of interesting about this trail. Also, there are hiker notes about taking the route that from the ADT, which goes around the northern end of town, is on a lot of these narrow roads that have high-speed traffic. As long as I'm not just dropping miles because I want to make it easier. One of the things I was discussing with Jen last night is my shoes. They're doing pretty good considering I'm 500 miles in and my shoes had some test miles back in town. They have exceeded the expectations I had, which were really low due to ultra issues, eternal ultra issues. And if you don't know what those are, you obviously haven't been paying attention the last couple of years, but basically the sides would blow out after 250 miles or so. It just got ridiculous when you're talking $160 shoes. So these are a little worn. You can see the foam is scooped out and I'm feeling the rocks through the bottom. I kind of wanted to push them and see what I could get out of them, but Jen correctly pointed out it takes a while to get things to me. It'll be 100 plus miles before they arrive, so it's pretty obviously time to pull the trigger on that. And I have, I think, 8 other pairs of these because they were on sale for $90 and it was worth the risk. It is Sunday. On my spreadsheet I track weekly mileage since that's kind of the best indicator of how I'm doing. And if I get where I think I will today, I should be a little above 130 miles for the week, which is good. I generally consider 120 or so moving good when I'm on an actual trail. Here I'm a little unhappy with that just because I have the 2 town stop days that cost me mileage. And this is a long trail. I'm 500 miles in, which sounds great and all, but it's 4,000 some miles to be able to make it to San Francisco. And since I'm not planning on any of the major shortcuts and I'm planning on the southern route, yeah, I guess the northern route is a little shorter. I have anticipated and planned for not being able to do the entire crossing in one go. I have a few months after the Yukon Source to Sea paddle next year set aside on the assumption that I would have to finish this, or if I don't, I will always find something else to hike. But I still would like to do it in one go. So I'm gonna try and keep pedal push down as much as I can. At least for the moment, my feet and legs are doing reasonably well. As it gets warmer, I have to kind of watch the pack rash if I don't shift my pack around a bunch. It's just the camping that's holding me back. And I should say my fears around the camping. Because it always seems like when I stop, then I leave the next day, and early in the day, there are plenty of options that I could make work. And then by the end of the day, when I do push it, it feels like I'm struggling. There's nothing. I have to do something that feels sketchy and not as restful. And considering how much I look forward to being in my tent at the end of the day, I really dislike those style camps. I know. So what the heck am I doing on the American Discovery Trail versus something with wilderness miles? But you got to push yourself here and there, or you never improve. The Eastern Continental had sections that were like that were out of my comfort zone, and that ended up being one of the more memorable things I've done. Plus, this seemed like a good way to celebrate the Triple Crown, Do north-south, and then cross them all. Since I've been stretching my dinners and I've been able to acquire town food and those sausages that nice little couple gave me, I'm just gonna push my resupply forward to Salem, which is another 20 some miles. And there I'll just grab a few more days of food. That should get me to Parkersburg on the border of West Virginia, Ohio. It does look like the warm weather has arrived. It was into mid to high 20s post dolly sods, and now it is in the 80s for most of the next week. Plus side, I wasn't far enough over to have all those tornadoes and whatnot cause an issue yet. I wasn't far enough to have tornadoes cause an issue yet. You'd think something like this would be an option for camping. There are a lot of smile you're on camera signs in areas like that, though. Still, for the record, could have totally found something here. Problem was Clarksburg. It looked like I was going to be in houses and civilization until I was well out of town, and I just didn't think I could do better part of 35, 40 miles. I carry the Hornet tent because it works in the most circumstances, and being out here so long, I run into cold weather, hot weather, bugs, everything in between. Every now and then, though, I do miss my bivvy. I really enjoy sleeping in bivvies and just the sense of being out. And there are so many spots I could have used if I was in that. Granted, out here, I worry I'd wake up with a face full of ticks or something like that, but that's just my West Coast bias speaking. So interestingly enough, this is that place that somebody said they camped. I don't know, I think I'd go with the woods personally. Not quite sure what to think of some of these hiker notes. So that's the red line to the right, and then the route straight through the city goes straight. I'm kind of wondering about that hiker note about no shoulder, because yeah, there's not shoulder here, but traffic, at least since I left the hotel, has really not been bad today. I wonder if they just hit it at the wrong time of day. I don't generally like shoving a camera in people's faces, but there were a good amount of homeless around I wasn't videoing. Well, this has been slightly higher on homeless and lower on coffee shops than I hoped. Unfortunately, being Sunday, the thing I was hoping to hit, of course, isn't open. That alt that goes around the city comes back in here. And once again, this didn't have too horribly much to recommend it. There were a couple of restaurants, but they looked bad enough and had all sorts of bad reviews where I kind of figured maybe I don't want to chance it. Well, probably best I didn't come through parts of that late in the day. And yes, I did walk through yet another road closure. This time they were building a bridge. I just seem to have the worst luck when it comes to finding people when I need something. I was really kind of hoping for some water before I get on the rail trail, but haven't managed to get a hold of anyone. Finally saw somebody out on their porch, and they filled me up. They were not the most encouraging, but I've got water now, so gallon on my back. I should be able to finish out the day with that if I don't find anything else. I am just dragging today. Oh well. Didn't sleep real great, and dinner wasn't the best. Looks like this is where the rail trail is going to start. Guessing this is me. Okay, I can do this for 70 some miles. Oh man, took a break back there. Should have taken it here. Natural built air conditioner. So I don't know how many, but there are at least a couple of these rest areas with bathrooms out here. This one is right by a water treatment plant. At least it's doing white noise. It's actually a really cool looking pub in this town, but of course closed Sunday, Monday. I think there might be a Dairy Queen or something up ahead. And this is what I get for coming in on Sunday. I don't know what it is, but I'm just not getting the friendliest vibe out here sometimes. But hey, all I can do is try. Grabbed something to eat at Dairy Queen mostly so I would have an excuse to fill my water bottles. Drank a bunch, probably a little dehydrated, which isn't helping. I've been feeling kind of down and dragging all day, so hopefully that'll help. Probably drink more caffeine than I need this late, but that should let me get another 4 or so miles down the trail. I'm currently at around mile 20 as near as I can tell, and I got 2.5 more hours of daylight. So there was one dispersed site that seemed promising, but it was before 7 and I didn't want to stop. I'm kind of wondering how this is going to go though, because a lot of this is very visible to houses, and quite frankly there hasn't been a lot of options. Okay, not quite ideal, but this will work. I'm having some chafing issues with all the humidity. And welcome to my little bug camp, which is at least partially infested with what I think is poison oak, which I'm horrible at recognizing. It'll work though. I'm down off to the side of the rail trail, and the houses are on the far side. Unfortunately, there are just sometimes where I have chafing issues whenever it gets humid, and it was pretty humid today. We'll see how tomorrow goes. Home sweet home.